Hello and welcome to the Mariana Dalto Show, the podcast where small business owners share their stories, insights, and strategies for success. Today, we have an amazing guest. His name is Rhys Giannarelli. I hope I said that right. He's
That's
an
fine.
Australian veterinary clinic owner in Vancouver, Canada. He's a passionate entrepreneur who turned his challenges in veterinary practice management into opportunities. He founded innovative veterinary management solutions to help others streamline their operations, improve culture, and boost profitability. Outside of business, he is a coffee lover like me, soccer coach, and a dedicated Liverpool Football Club fan. Welcome, Rhys, to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. You are welcome. So, Rhys, tell us a little bit about your background, about your journey as a business owner, so then the audience can learn from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I could say I'm a bit fortunate. I come from a family of entrepreneurs where business was the way of life for us. I don't think there's many in the family and extended family that do not have a business. So it was always business at the dinner table, always business talk at any function that we ever went to. So it was just embedded in me that business is life for us. So I've been an entrepreneur or I've been a business owner for, I don't know, for the last 24, 5 years or something like that. I started in the cafe industry, like most Italians do, restaurants. From there, it stemmed. I did other things as well. I was in the army for 4 years. I was in insurance for 2 years. But I went back to hospitality because that's what I knew. That's what I thought I loved, and I loved coffee, as you just said. But it wasn't until where I met my wife in my own cafe where she came to order a coffee, where after some years of dating, we decided to get married and move to Canada. That's where she's from. She's also a veterinarian. That's what she was doing in Australia. From there, I was thinking, do I start a cafe again? Because that's what I knew. But in North America, they weren't used to or did not know what good coffee was. They were still, I'm sorry, everybody, but everyone was still Starbucks and everyone was Tim Hortons, and they are disgusting coffee. But they just didn't understand what real coffee was. And I didn't think that there was the market for it. So my wife fell pregnant, and it was, okay, I know business, you know medicine, let's put the two together, and hopefully we don't kill each other in the process and become a great team. So we became a husband and wife business team, and that it was hard, I'm not going to lie, to work with your partner as well as seeing them at home, especially when they do not have the entrepreneur mindset themselves. Taking work home is difficult and it's always a challenge. So we have to set boundaries. And I think setting boundaries was the hardest part, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's
So
working with your partner, but also changing the
yeah.
niche because you are changing a totally industry, right?
Yeah. And, back then, it was 10 years ago now, but back then, the vet clinics didn't have hospitality. It didn't have that customer service connection. It had wholesome connections to the community, to the neighborhood. This is your neighborhood vet, just like a family doctor. That's what it had, but it didn't have the hospitality sector, and that's what I brought to the table. So it was a great journey. I had to learn a lot from the industry, and I do love the industry, but I love business most. And any business is good business in my eyes, as long as you can run it efficiently and effectively.
That's awesome. And then, so you talked about one of the challenges, like working with your partner, which is always not easy, right? So what were some of the other biggest challenges that you faced in the beginning? Again, the audience are small business owners, some are really starting a business, so they could hear maybe some kind of like, when you just start a business, what other things that you need to consider and you are most likely face until you get like your foot in the door for getting clients?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people get a little bit shocked when I say this because they didn't expect it to come so soon. When you start a business, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, how long before I exit that business? And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say that is because when you start a business, you got these great ideas and how to scale it and how great it's going to be for you and the family and the community and your clients. That's all great. That's just the byproduct of what you do. But how you build your company, the foundation, and how to exit, because how you exit is going to determine how you move forward.
That's so right what you're saying, because you structure
Yeah,
the business differently. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. That's an
yeah,
amazing tip.
yeah. No, it is because for me, I love business so much that I have many, but I want to not work in them. I want to work on them, but I want to work in them. So when I build a business, I put systems and procedures in place and have a structured system. So that way, when I build it, I have people that go into certain positions that I am now hands off. When I'm
Mhm.
hands off, it runs itself and I can start on something different. As long as we can maintain what the goals are, what the metric system should be, I'm able to identify in real time how and where a business or portion of a business is succeeding or failing. And we can make changes in real time. And that's what I mean by what is your exit strategy? Because now it's a self-running current turnkey business that I can sell tomorrow as a turnkey because it's not dependent on an operator. It is dependent on the systems.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
if
what
it's
I
dependent
do
on the
best.
operator, then it's just very hard to sell.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And would you get into a conversation about, but it's the operator who makes it succeed? It's true, it's the personality, but if you can teach the right people in your team to do that too, then it's a winning formula. But if everything's dependent on you as an operator and business owner, you can only grow so much before you also burn out.
So first, when you're starting out, try to put the systems in place. Then you start hiring a team, and then the team should like implement the systems that you put in place, and that's how you start building and scaling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that does coincide with your vision. Where is vision going? Where do you want to be in 3, 5, 10 years? But that is your vision, but you're building for that vision. So there's blocks, there's stepping stones, you can call it an org chart or an accountability chart, pick a chart, but that is all developed for these goals that you're going to and moving forward to. It's just part of a system.
And one of I think the hardest part is when people start hiring and then trying to keep the team engaged. And so can you
Yeah,
kind of like talk about that a little bit?
yeah, absolutely. Keeping team engaged is about keeping them involved. And when we talk about involvement, you want to know what they also think. While you could be the visionary or you could be the operator, it it doesn't hurt to ask them what they think of an idea or a decision because they often will have a better one than you. And it's okay if they do, but they're the ones in the trenches. They're the ones that deal with the day-to-day stuff that you may or may not see. They will say, hey, this can be done better by doing it this way or that way. And that's okay. But you must set the foundation and the workplace environment of safe conversations. They should be able to challenge you and say, is this correct? Does this, and everyone should have this, does this coincide with our core values, our mission, our why? Because if it doesn't, then you're moving outside that circle of niche and outside your core values because you're doing this for a purpose. What is that purpose? If it's outside that purpose, then it doesn't suit your niche. And that's something that we've tried to do, and I think we've done it successfully, is create a safe environment for my team to challenge me on every decision I do. And when I say challenge, it's not about how dare you, it's about tell me about this idea, tell me more about this concept, or was there a reason? And I need to know why. Because if they understand my why and how it directly relates to a decision or core value, they can go, okay, I get that, but can we do this differently, like this way or that way. If
Yeah, and they also
they're
need to feel
involved,
comfortable, like bringing it up,
yeah,
right? Like thinking
absolutely.
outside the box and bringing this new idea. I might
Yeah,
have been very outside of what you typically, the way you work, but hear me out, right?
yeah. But that's what innovation is, and that's how we progress forward. So if you want your business or to go to the next level, your product to go to the next level, invite and collaborate, because they are going to be your sounding board. They're going to be the ones that go, can this work? Can it not work? How do we make it work? And again, if you can create a safe environment that there's no repercussions, no matter what is said, there are boundaries. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there are boundaries, like everything. But if they can come to you and say, I don't like this idea for these reasons, there's no fear of repercussions there. It's safe. But if they come into you with an idea and you're like, oh, get out, and how dare you, talk back to me, that's not a safe environment. In fact, it's quite toxic, and you're not going to have the best working environment or the best people to work for you.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the financial benefits, the tangible benefits of having a collaborative and inviting workplace is that you're going to get loyalty and retention of your team, but you are not going to get them. Sorry, let me rephrase. You would get them at a cost. Sorry, you would get them at a lesser cost than what the market value is, because the work culture and a work environment is much better than the person down the road that's got a toxic culture but needs to pay more to keep people. That is the tangible benefits of a work culture. I'm not saying do not pay your team, pay them well, but pay them for the retention and loyalty. And if you can incorporate a profit share program, great, or incentive share program, fantastic. But as long as you understand that a work environment is your actual business, then your product is a byproduct.
And then what's the process that you use to identify and nurture leadership? Because you have a team, probably you want to grow your team, and then what are the tips that you have based on your own experience to nurture leadership?
You know, you never really master leadership. It's a skill that is always evolving, and the more you talk to people, the more books you read, the more challenging uh, challenging scenarios come your way, you're forced to think a little bit differently. And it again, I don't believe that I'm a master of leadership, but what I can do is nurture the next leaders. There's a little saying that managers people, but leaders inspire people. And
Mm-hmm.
when I want to bring on any team members for that matter, I ask them, what is it that you want to do? What are your strengths and weaknesses, and what love and support can I give you for you to thrive? And without these constant conversations, they need to know that you're supporting them. They need to know that you're there for them, not just in, do this work and do it well, but sometimes, and it's hard because they are human after all, that they're going to come in with outside problems and issues or concerns that they still need to deal with in their mind. So if you can have constant check-ins with them, I mean, I check in with my team once a month, but if you have constant check-ins with them, how's everything? How's everything going? Is everything going well? Do you have any concerns? Is there something that you hate or love? All these little questions that are foundations of a relationship. So if you can say, hey, do you need this, or do you need support for this, or do you know anything about this? Do you want to learn about this? They will show
What
you
motivates you?
interest.
What is it that drives you in
Yeah,
order for you to succeed,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
that's right. If you can find out their why, well, that makes your life a whole lot easier. You can provide those resources. So the more you ask the questions and the more you give them resources, the more uplifting that you're going to give and more empowerment they're going to have. And eventually they'll run your business for you because they trust you and you trust them.
That's right. You mentioned that you have frequently, touch-ups with them or meetings. Tell us a little bit about that. I think you had a resource that you wanted to share with the audience about meetings, right?
Yeah, I mean, the resource that I have about meetings is actually a team meeting, staff meeting, however you want to call it. It's how to be productive in a team meeting, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a resource that you can get on my website anytime you like, and it's free. But the one-on-one chats that we have, I take them out for coffee, I go to the cafe down the road, and we just chit chat. It doesn't need to be about work. It can just be about anything, life. But what I am building is a foundation of trust and a relationship with my team. It doesn't mean that I cross the borders of friendship and boss or friends and boss, but I want them to know that this is a welcoming environment. And if they have any concerns, that's the best time to tell me because we can work on it together. Not in 6 months, not in a year when the annual performance review comes up, because they're going to be very surprised on a performance review that they may or may not agree with. And it just takes away that conversation of, well, how come I didn't know about this before? If there is a conversation now, 9 months earlier or 10 months earlier, that there is an issue, we can sort it out now. But it's an open conversation. And we talk about compassion, we talk about inspiring and leading. How can I do that without empathy? I can't. So I want to make sure that they have a good space to go, I'm having trouble with this. Just like school, I'll give you extra tutoring. I'll spend more time with you. I'll give you more resources. We can't expect our employees to care more than us if we don't care about them.
So for
If that
people
makes
to
sense.
relate a little bit, do you have an example, something that you can share, a time where you did something in your business where it helped empower your team and that resulted in a significant breakthrough or a success?
Yeah.
So then people can relate a little bit on what you're talking about to help the team.
I could name many. The one that I'm going to pick today is my manager, Kristen. When she came to us, she was a normal worker, did her job well, wasn't exceptional, but wasn't a leader either. And when we were restructuring our practice, she came in very early, but we were in a process of restructuring. And I remember installing my system into our practice. And I said to my wife, I said, Kristen won't be with us after this. I don't believe she has the capacity to do the job that she's going to continue to do. And we had that hard conversation, an open and honest conversation, and we spoke about the facts. Nothing that was subjective. It was all very objective stuff. And she was overwhelmed and whatnot, but she looked at me and she goes, I need some time to process. 2 days later, she came back and she said, I agree. Something has to change. And that was 6 years ago. She's still with me today as my right hand person, smashing goals, thriving.
Oh my
She
goodness,
is
what did you
exceptional.
say to her?
Yeah, we just had some hard conversations. Say, hey, this is where you are. This is the standard that I expect. What are you going to do about that? What resources do you need? What support do you need? And I was with her the whole way. With her the whole way. In fact, she is my longest standing employee right now, except for my wife and I. But she's been with us for the start, for 6 years ago.
That's
Six?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that conversation was powerful because something clicked on her and it really made her make a shift in the way she was approaching things, right? And that's where
Yeah,
communication,
absolutely.
relationship, keep talking, understanding each other, that's important. So,
Yeah. And that's like I said, there's many instances, but this was probably the story I tell the most, because she's been with me the longest, and each time I tell the story, she's like, "Yep, that actually happened." You know.
that's crazy. And then how do you ensure that your vision as a business owner and your company as a leader translates measurable with business outcomes, right? Because you have a vision, you gotta have to translate and bring that up to your team. But at the end of the day, the business has to make money. So how do you translate your vision to making money and have good business outcomes?
Yeah. So when we set out vision boards, we set out what the 5 year goal looks like, and then we break it down to 3 years, and then 1 year, and then 90 days after that. Um, we set goals in those 90 days to reach our 5-year goal. So every 90 days, there's a new goal, to a small goal and a small goal, which compounds to the next, and eventually, hopefully, that's going to reach my 5-year goal. So when we talk about this is the 5-year goal, I have meetings with my whole team every quarter. This is this is remains the goal. This is where we are. This is what we need to do. This is how we're going to get there. And we have leadership teams that we do them once a week. And in these leadership teams, we go, okay, this was the task. Did we do it? Did we not do it? Tell me why if we didn't. Where are we with this? Where are we with that? And these are the issues that we need to solve today. We solve these issues, and then we put to-dos in, and then we come back next week and go back to the same thing. How did this happen? Did we do it? Yes, no. Where are we with this goal? On time? Sorry, on task or not on task? And then we're collaborating, and it's just a conversation. We're talking about where we are and what we would be doing. If there's any issues apparent with everything that we're doing, we drop it down to an issue list. Every bi-weekly, however, we have a team meeting where everyone comes together and we go, okay, this is what we've been working on, bang, 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 but what are your issues? So there's two separate things, one for leadership, one for team. The team also have their own stuff to deal with and their own concerns and issues to deal with, and we sort them out. But then the company meeting is every quarter. This is where we are. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. This still exists. Our core values are this. Are they still the same? Does anyone disagree with that? Again, it's a collaboration rather than a lecture. It's just how it's structured, that we go, this was the main goal, and this is where we are, and these were the goals that we set in the 90 days to get us there, and this is the result of those 90 days.
Yeah, and I mean, you give them
about
visibility, right? You give them visibility on the
Yeah,
goal, visibility on the task. You
absolutely.
discuss
But I
that.
practice an open book management, right? So
Right.
they can see everything. And I know it's not for everybody. I understand that. But I do believe that if they can't see your vision, or if they don't know what your goals are, how are they meant to know what you want? It's just the way I practice. So, can they see my financials? The answer is yes. If they go, hey, how did we do last month? I show them. I don't care. And the conversation of, oh, you make so much money doesn't exist, because I'm open about it. This is how much we made. This is what we spent. This is the profit left over, whatever that may be. Right. And I know sometimes this can be a tough conversation to some, but people go, I feel uncomfortable showing them a profit. Well, if they want to start a business, they can make a profit too. It's just part of that. Do I have an incentive program? I do. That's just what I choose to do. You don't need to do that, but that's what business owners is. We take risks to reap a reward.
And being transparent is great, because people then see, how what they're doing impacts the business in a good or a bad way, right? So
yeah, that's right. And you should reward them.
They don't see the impact.
I know. I mean, I like to reward my team as much as I can and help them. But business comes first. We need to make sure that we remain profitable to give them that bonus, to give them that incentive. And again, how do they know what profit you make? You could be telling them a lie. But if I now am transparent, there's nothing that they can say that is untrue.
Okay, well, this is great. I do have one more personal question, and this is more about what's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself through running a business? And I know you've been your blood and your background is about entrepreneurship, but you made changes throughout. You moved. So what's the most surprising thing that you learned through the process of having your own business and running your business?
This is actually quite easy for me, because it's something I never had before. But as you grow and learn yourself and develop yourself as a professional, and even personal for that matter, but I learned how to be vulnerable. And that was a big thing for me, because as a leader, you don't want to show weakness. You don't want to show that you may not know something, or someone else can do it better. But being vulnerable in, hey guys, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to find out. I don't know that answer, but I'm going to find out. And I made a mistake here, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to I'm going to fix that mistake. That took me a long, long time to be okay with doing and admitting faults, admitting flaws. But to be vulnerable was probably the best thing that I could have done as a leader because it humanizes me. And
Yeah,
I'm just like everybody else. I just happen to be in the seat.
that's so nice. That's good to hear, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Rhys, for all the insights, for all the knowledge that you have about running businesses. We are super happy to listen, to hear all this, the way that we can improve and be better running our businesses, running our teams, and have a better future, right? So before we wrap up, what else would you like to share with the audience?
You know, if you're a small business owner and you need to learn how to put systems in place, I can absolutely help you. I feel it's very easy. It's a 4-day workshop spread over 8 weeks or 9 weeks, but it can be done for you. It can be done. It can be easy. Owning a business or entrepreneurship doesn't need to be hard. It can be easy if you surround yourself with the best people, as I did myself until I learned how to put a system together. The system exists for you to make it easier on yourself, that you can probably take some time off and spend with your family, because I know that can be daunting for most, and trying to have a business succeed. So
And
it does exist.
this
There's help out there.
and you do that, are those live workshops, or you can do them online, or how does that work? Do they need to be in
It's an
Canada?
in-person
Uh-huh.
No, it's an in-person workshop. I come to
Mhm.
you. I go to the US and Canada, everywhere. So it's an in-person workshop. It's tailored towards you. It is a system that can be adaptable to most businesses. It just basically, if you want to be a business owner instead of a business operator, and you need the system, give me a buzz.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Rhys, for joining us today, for all the insights. Can you please tell the audience where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. On almost social media platforms, but if you just go to my website, www.ivmsolutions.org, all the information you need is there. Send me a LinkedIn, send me an email. I will be there every step of the way anyway. So, you know, I'm always there.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I will put, for the listeners, I will put all the details about Rhys and his business in the show notes, so then you can reach out to him if this interests you. Thank you for Rhys for joining us today. Thank you for the listeners to tuning in, and please do not forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoy this episode. Thank you so much, and thanks, Rhys, for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
Thank you. See you next time.